Yo, what's up, guys? Back to Minecraft. Man, let's just take a look at all the stuff that I've done. Built that little like walkway. Then it goes all the way around there and comes down here. I know there's a lot of new subscribers that have never seen my Minecraft series, but let me just show you guys around for the new people that are watching. I know some of you guys don't know what it is, and a reason why I call it Mindcraft is just because I just go around. I just go around building this house pretty much. I started off way over there in the distance, and then I came over here and started building here, and I started building this building right here. Started with that part right there, and then I just started building downward, and then I went all the way down to the bottom, and and this I built last time last time I was talking, and this is pretty cool. God damn, girl, you got a fat ass. Yes, you do. You got a fat ass. So if you I go down here, you can kind of see like the building. I don't know, I had this like thing with glass. I really like glass, and architectures with glass and stone. I think that's like my favorite out of there's a tree right here in the way. I need to get my Mexican gardener over here. And so yeah, I'm still building this out, not quite sure what I want to do to the rest of this. And down here I failed plenty of times falling in that lava and making that lava pit. Right here is like my little beach area. Well, it wasn't a beach area, it was just like a little pool house. And then there's some glass up there, and there's a lit pool down here. I just thought, just make some cool stuff. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do right there still. So let's head up to the second room. Just in here, I don't really know what I'm doing with this either. But on this side, if I go through here, you can kind of see all this back area out here, which is kind of cool. It's like a cliff. And yeah, so that's for all the new guys. I know for all the old subscribers, or they're not old subscribers, but the people who've been subscribed to my channel since I started this Minecraft series. In the beginning I was going out and looking for caves, which I have to do pretty soon again. I kind of miss going out to caves because it was kind of fun. I might do that now. I might just go look for a cave and get lost in a cave again. It's just like, the only thing is, oh yeah, and I have my compass. That's what I was trying to do the last time. I was trying to get my compass right. So there's all these rooms right here. I have like some light stone and like a little couch. And there's my Xbox 360 right there. Then if you go in here, just have all my storage where I have some stuff in here. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with all this, but got some fish and some sugar canes. I know some of you guys who are new do not know what the epic caves are, but I got lost in them the last time, and I don't know how I'm gonna get out, or I don't know how I'm gonna deal with that this time. I might actually. Someone told me to use redstone, so I can. Yeah, I'll use redstone so I can find my way out this time. And what else would I need? I got one pickaxe. I probably need another pickaxe. So let's use iron. Yeah, I'll use iron, and I'll make some iron pickaxes. Need some sticks. That's good. So I think I'm going to go out and look for a cave again. It's been a while since I've done that. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be really awesome. Let me switch out this one. Actually, I'll use this diamond pickaxe up. It'll be a while before I actually use it up. And I'll throw all this wood in here. I'll keep that. Yeah, I'll keep all that wood, and I'll throw my stairs in here. I'm not going to use that. Throw my stone in there, my glass. Don't need wool. Would I need a bed? I don't think so. So I got my torches. Maybe I should make some more torches. That's a good idea. I don't want to get stuck in there. In the dark at least. There we go. I'll just make all the rest of those torches out. There we go. 264 packs should do. Alright, I think I'm gonna go back to the cave and but another thing is, like, I started making that like mine down there. But I kind of miss, like, looking around in the cave. And actually there's another cave over here that I haven't explored. Yeah, let's go over there. I have my compass, so it doesn't matter, like. Oh wait, my compass is pointing to my old spawn. It's not pointing to my bed over here, which is kind of weird. Oh well, if I can get to my old spawn, I can find my way back over here. But then again, I haven't gone searching this way. So many options with Minecraft, that's why it's amazing. So what do I want to talk about today? As some of you guys know, I lost my job as a graphic designer, and that was because of a few things. And I know I talked to you guys last time about, alcohol problems, and that's kind of why I lost my job, was because I was messing around too much. I mean, well, it wasn't strictly because of alcohol. It was because of a few things. I mean, for one, I wasn't really motivated to be in advertising anymore. I mean, I just felt like I wasn't doing, my part as a like, there was other people there that were more motivated to being, in the advertising field, and I felt like that really wasn't for me. I want to get back into game design because I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in game design, and I definitely want to get back into game design. I want to, use my experience from my graphic design and my graphic design skills to go into game design, and just go into something that I have a passion for, something that I've always wanted to do, but just haven't done. I don't know why. And why is this, like, kind of not green as normal? Is there seasons in this now? That'd be kind of sweet. I don't know. You guys see that? Is it usually not as green as it usually is? Because isn't it usually as green as those? But yeah, I lost my job as a graphic designer because I wasn't motivated, for one, and another reason is because of a few incidences. And I'm not going to tell you guys what those are, but they definitely involved alcohol. And the culture there at that work office was, everyone drank. Like, it was part of the reason why a lot of people worked there, is because, it was really, like, everyone there drank, and everyone had, like, if we were going to have something special for, all the employees, it was going to be a drinking outing to go drinking and stuff like that. And me, like, I was at that time, I was going pretty crazy, and I haven't drank for 3 weeks now. And I'm proud of that for myself, just because I don't know, I've never gone that long. Well, ever since I started. When I started, I was, like, in college, and when you're in college, I mean, you get drunk, and it's not a big deal. Everyone gets drunk, and as you go into into your job and do all that, like, everyone sort of drinks too. Like, after work, you always feel like you want to go with your friends to go get drinks or whatever at the bar. And it's just a fun thing to do, to get drunk at the bar. And that pretty much got me in trouble, was just going to the bar. What's down there? Oh, I think that's just from where I was already. Alright, so this is my old house for some of you guys that have been watching this for a while now. Like, if you look back from the beginning, this is where I started building my humble abode, I guess. I don't know if there's stuff in here still. Oh yeah, there's wool and gravel, eggs, there's not really much in here. But yeah, this is my old stomping grounds right here. I had this like right here, like this, the creepers kept blowing this up right here. It was pretty funny. I mean, if you guys look back at some of my old episodes, you guys can see me battle the creepers and getting spawn trapped by creepers. Down here is where I did a story about a pond, and I think that was a really cool commentary if you guys are interested in stories, because I did a really cool story about a pond here, and I could, maybe I could tell you guys that story right now. But oh yeah, and another thing, the commentary with my dad. Some of you guys, I was talking to some of you guys the last commentary about talking to my dad on, one of these Minecraft videos, and my dad, he didn't stay here long enough to do it. He was he had to go, so, and my mom, she wanted to go and do some other things around town, so so I didn't get any time, alone with my dad to do a commentary, but, maybe in the future it'll happen. Who knows? My dad's a pretty, he's a character, I guess. He's a character to talk to. I think I've searched this entire little cave. I know there's another cave around here somewhere. But yeah, my dad is, I like talking to my dad. I mean, he always brings things into perspective in a way that I could never really wrap my head around, like, and he always brings it around to where I understand it completely, and that's something that not a lot of people have. I don't even know if I have that. Like, when I talk to you guys, I think some of you guys understand, like, my way of thinking, but for the most part it's always just sort of rambling. Sorry about the Skype noises for you guys that can hear them. It's I'm talking to a few other people on Skype. I'm trying to find, there's another cave over here that I'm trying to find, and I don't remember exactly where it was. Let me pick my things up. I know it was in this direction. Give me one sec. I need to check this Skype message. Alright. Oh. It wasn't anyone really in particular. But where is this cave? Anyway, talking about, my dad, so I couldn't get him in a commentary. I wish I could have. It would have been awesome. I don't know where I'm going, but I have my compass, so I don't have to really worry about dying or anything. I don't know, I hope you guys can see. It might be pretty dark, but there should be. I'm still looking around in this darkness, trying to find like a cave that I can go search for. Ah, I can't get out. I might just run into like the old cave that I found the last time. Anyway, oh, I wanted to talk to you guys about what I've been doing since I haven't worked for 2 weeks now, and I haven't drank for 3 weeks. But it's been awesome, like, not working. I've kind of taken these 2 weeks off just to I have a little bit of money saved up, so I wasn't too worried about finding a job right away. I can pay my rent and stuff like that, and I really just wanted to take a break. let me go in here and make sure I search this entire place, because I remember the last time I was in here, I was fighting these a bunch of enemies in here, but I don't remember if I searched everywhere in here. But yeah, I've been taking this week off, kind of just to, just to relax and, center myself, kind of get get myself back. I've been shopping. I actually went today to go find some shirts to, for interviews and stuff like that. So hopefully, I can use them for my interviews. And I think I have searched this entire cave. I'm not sure though. Yeah, this led to nothing. I remember that. I don't even know why I checked it, because I do remember checking this cave out. But I've been golfing, and I don't know how many of you know. Well, actually, I don't even know if I've told you guys, but when I was in high school, I was playing varsity golf, and I was also on a few golf sponsorships, and it was really awesome playing golf. I got to play, when I was in, I'd say, middle school and through high school, I got to play golf for free every day, and I got to go to the range and do all that, and I used to practice a lot. I would practice every day, and it was one of the better parts of my life. Like, playing golf, there's no other sport out there that has as much a strain on your mentality than there is golf. I mean, basketball and football, they have their own, little special spots, I guess, like special, I know, like, boxing is another sport where, a lot of your mentality's into it. You have a lot of mental strain, and because you have to overcome basically your skill differences and all that with your opponent. And then there's other sports like football. I know football is pretty strenuous on, like, football is pretty much like war, like actual war, but not like killing other people, but you know what I mean. It's like the tactics are kind of similar. Like, you have to band up with your with your teammates and figure out your weaknesses, their weaknesses, and go against each other. But for me, golf is not a team. Obviously, golf is not a team sport, and so it's kind of a test on your mentality alone, and like how much you can overcome just staring at just focusing on one intense moment, which is the golf swing. I know all the mechanics of a perfect swing. Like, I've played golf for so long that I understand exactly how to do a perfect golf swing, but getting around to actually swinging, getting everything perfect to that point is really, well, it has a lot to do with muscle memory, but there's also a really like strong, there's a strong emphasis on keeping your mind at ease, because I know a lot of people think, I know there's a genuine consensus, I guess, to beginners that the harder you swing, the further the ball will go. Like, that's kind of just a natural sort of thing that people sort of think, and that's actually the exact opposite. Like, the harder you swing, like the more of a chance that you're not gonna, first off, you're not gonna hit the ball, and second off is you're going to completely fail at the swing. Like, all sorts of things can go wrong if you put a lot of emotion into swinging your golf club. And for me, a huge issue that I had in my golf swing was something called a reverse shift, and that's when you lean to, well, when you swing your golf club, the idea is to bring yourself to the center, to set up and have everything, have everything parallel to your goal or whatever, to the hole or to your target, and then you swing back, or you pull your club back, and then as you're swinging down and forward, the idea is to bring all of that centrifugal force all back to the center, and then as you're swinging down, all that force is behind you, and also at the same time your whole entire body is back to that complete center. So basically you're back to the center as you come down, and and then as you hit the ball, all that's there is just the force that you built up, pulling all your weight back, and then all of your weight back into the center to hit the ball. So all that centrifugal force all of a sudden gets put into the one moment in time, which is obviously impacting the ball, and after that it's up to you and the body, your mechanics of your body on however you want it to swing. Like, there's all kinds of little things you could do to do cool tricks and all that, but the basic golf swing is all about bringing yourself back to that center, complete center, and then being able to focus that energy all into the ball, and then all of a sudden it launches into the air, depending on depending on your success or not. And a lot has to do with your mind, being that if you don't get if you don't have the mentality of if you don't let go of the past, you're going to tense up, because you're going to remember all those things that happened to you in the past. Like, you're gonna tighten up in your shoulders and your neck, and everything's gonna go off center, and it's not gonna be perfect. And I can't find that cave. I've been looking for a long time. I literally can't find that cave. So I'm just gonna keep looking until I find one. Down here it looks like an interesting area. I've never been in this direction, actually. But I just remember I was just at the golf range, really. I actually went to the golf range on Monday, and I just practiced my swing, and then from Tuesday until Friday I just went out and played golf. But I just remembered how much how much tension and all that was built when I was a kid on trying to do well in the game. I just saw, everyone was like, man, you gotta do all this. I had my dad behind me watching me play, watching me swing. I had all of my instructors standing right next to me, critiquing every move that I make, every time I set up. And I had a lot of teachers. I had a lot of coaches and golf instructors. I went through a lot of seminars, and at one point I was an amateur pro, so it was just a lot of pressure during those tournaments, during all that. Just playing golf was just a huge pressure. But now that I'm alone and there's no pressure, and there's nobody around telling me to make sure I focus, on the ball, I don't do my reverse shift, now I sort of remember some of the stuff, like the reverse shift. That's basically, how I told you that everything's about centering back to everything's about pulling things back to the center. Well, the way I would do it was completely wrong, because usually people swing their arms back and then down and then forward and then through the swing, and then they end up facing the hole. Well, for me, it was like I would pull the club back, and then as I'm pulling the club back, my body would lean toward my left shoulder, because I'm right-handed, so my left shoulder would lean downwards towards the ball, and then my body would sway backward, my body would sway back towards the hole, and then I would swing down, kind of like a baseball swing. And then I would, if I hit the ball, I would be able to launch the ball so far. But the thing, and I did, you know, there was a high success. I mean, there was I mean, not a high. There was a low success rate, but a high reward system with that swing, and it was not consistent at all. And the idea behind golf is to be as consistent as you can be. It's not really necessarily about being a high risk, high reward player. It's more about being consistent. The more consistent you are, the closer you'll become, the closer you will start to become a pro, because pros are, the idea of being a pro is you're consistent all the time. And I found a cave. But for me, like, that reverse shift was a huge problem on my end, and I think part of it was because there was so much pressure that I was trying to really exaggerate what I saw the other instructors do, but they didn't have a reverse shift. Like, they wouldn't do the things that I would do, and I would always wonder like how they kept it under control. And you know, there's a few things that they would do. They would sometimes they would hold like a golf club to my shoulder, and they would make sure, like, they're like, if you touch this, then stop swinging and line up again. And actually, since I was alone and there was no one there like judging me, no one there, you know, it was only me and like the other people who were, you know, practicing golf or whatever. I had this sense like I don't need to do anything. I can, you know, swing this club and, you know, remember a few things that I used to do. I mean, the way I used to line up and everything like that. And I didn't even have the problem of the reverse shift after that. It was just like, since there was nothing there holding me back, I sort of just did it. Like, I felt great when I hit the ball, and I mean, I wasn't doing, you know, I wasn't hitting the ball like perfectly, but or even the same consistency that I did at that time when I was a kid, when I was in high school doing it, but I felt a lot better about it. And then as you know, as the week went on, like, my swing became better and better and better, and then I finally like reached the, I don't know what it's called, like an epiphany. And it had to do with, it didn't have anything to do with me, like the mechanics of my body, but it had to do with me connecting to, you know, just everything around me. And it wasn't like this trippy sort of, oh my God, like I'm in tune with the universe. Not sort of that sort of thing. It was kind of like a more scientific way that I sort of thought like, all right, so why am I such a huge fan of golf? Well, I've always had this, you know, I've always felt like everything is sort of connected. Everything is interconnected. And for me, golf like accentuates that idea, because you have to be in tune with all of your surroundings at every moment. Like, you have to understand, you know, you have to understand the wind patterns around you, and you have to feel them out. You can obviously use, like, you know, barometers, or I don't even know what they use to measure wind, but you know, you can kind of figure it out if you play enough. And you can same thing with when you're putting and when you're doing all that stuff, when you think about the ground and how it's shaped, and you see like the type of grass you're on, you see all the sorts of all the elements that you're going up against. All of a sudden, everything starts to make sense. Oh man, this is an epic cave. And you know, for me, that was a great epiphany. Like, I was like, man, like, I've been missing out on all this because I've been worrying about the mechanics of my swing. Like, I've been worrying too much about, you know, the I guess. Oh man, and I need to start laying down redstone so I don't get lost. So let me go over here and start laying down redstone. I definitely don't want to get lost in a cave again. I mean, the last time I had to dig my way out and it was a nightmare. Alright, so I think I can get out from here, so let me start laying. Okay, so right there's one. Right here. Right here. So, like, everything started to make sense, and, oh, I'm already lost. Yeah, I didn't get that one out. Oh, and by the way, it's 1 a.m. in the morning, just to let you guys know. But, I felt like, since I didn't have all that pressure anymore, I definitely felt this, I felt like I started to realize, you know, a bunch of things, like, so worrying about, the shape of the ground that you're on, the grass that you're on, the wind, and feeling the breeze, and, where things are going, like, exactly, where everything is, and where you are in amongst all of that chaos, like amongst all of those stipulations, amongst all of that, all of your surroundings. What are you going to make of it? Like, you have a goal, which is going to this, launching the ball into a certain direction and getting it to, the golf hole, or to the golf flag. Oh, what is over here? It's like lit up. Oh, some lava. Let's go down here. Let's check it out. Lava. It's a little creepy. Let's see what's up here. Let me, well, the lava can kind of makes, where's the last, redstone that I put up? Okay, let me put, it's so hard for me to stay on topic, especially when I'm, like, searching these epic caves. Like, you never know what you're gonna find. But, there you go. There we go. Yeah, so you have all these situations, and it reminds me of just life in general. Like, you have all these, you're in a situation. For me, golf is like the ultimate, like, life lesson, because it keeps you in the moment. For one, if you're playing a tournament, or if you're playing even just regular golf, and you want to do really well, you absolutely have to keep yourself in the moment. If you trail behind, or if your mind wavers off into the distance, and you start thinking about, oh man, I'm not doing so well today, I messed up on that last hole, or whatever, I messed up on that last round, and I could have done so much better, and on that hole, or whatever. It's terrible that had to happen. You're just standing there, like, in your own, disgusted with yourself, in your own, in your own self-pity. And for me, in my situation with, my job and everything, I was playing golf, and I was like, I could bitch about, all this stuff. Like, I could bitch about being, like, an alcoholic, and I could sit here and cry about, all these things that I did in the past. And what is that going to do if the next time I have to swing the club, it's going to take away all the focus. Or the next time I approach the next situation, it's going to deter me from doing the next move. It's gonna make my next move worse. My next move is gonna be horrible, because I've allowed myself to be enveloped by the past, um, to basically be a slave to my past. And then all of a sudden, the next few rounds, and then the next time I play golf, or the next hole I play, it's just gonna be horrible because I'm just still gonna be stuck in that situation. I'm still gonna be stuck in the past, and I'm not gonna be able to move forward. And I was stumbling over my words right there because I was staring at this delicious 7-Up. But I just felt like, man, like there's so many lessons in this moment right now. I can't, it was cool. It was cool that I had that epiphany. And it was one of these epiphanies where I can explain to you guys a piece of it, but the entire experience was incredible. Like, the entire experience alone had so many lessons in it that it would take me like 4 hours to explain all of that to you guys. All the emotions that I felt, all of the different lessons that I learned in that one moment, all the things that tied together for me, and some of the stuff that that I learned you guys would not understand because some of you haven't gotten that far in your experience, and for some of you it's not for you. Some of you, the lessons that are some of the lessons that I get in my own life from my own experiences are not for you guys because it's not part of your path. You have your own separate path. But then again, like, there might be a reason why you're listening to this, to me blabber on right now at 1 a.m. in the morning about some epiphany that I had when I was playing golf. And golf, a lot of people would argue whether golf is a serious sport or not. For me, it is the most serious sport I've ever played, and it's the one I've taken pride in playing because I just love the idea of staying in the moment, keeping yourself from just self-pity, like all those things I told you guys about. I mean, there's so many lessons in golf that it's just amazing. I mean, at one point, I remember I was playing a tournament, and my dad, like, he was trying to give me pointers, and my dad's not a golf pro at all. Like, my dad doesn't even really know how to play golf. But he loves his son, so he wants to help him out, and in any way that he can. And he was I was really frustrated at this moment in time, and I was like in the middle of a tournament, and my dad was trying to give me tips about how to swing a club or about what I should do. And I started getting angry. I started like taking all my anger out on my dad. Like, I'm like, why don't you just shut up? Like, like, what? I had that in my head. I didn't tell him that because obviously if I said that to my dad, he'd probably knock me out or something. No, I'm kidding. No, but he'd probably he'd probably get mad at me or whatever, and it'd be a tough time later on. But I told my dad, like, I'm just like, Dad, please, I'm trying to figure this out. I'm like, you don't really even know how to play golf. I mean, I know what I'm doing right now, and I didn't listen to my dad. And this always happens to my parents. Like, I won't listen to them, and and they'll try and tell me, like, as much as they can. It's kind of like watching, I guess it's kind of like watching someone like getting run over, or running on a train track, and you see the train coming, and you keep telling them no matter what you say, like, they're just not budging because I don't know, they want to. I don't know why they would be doing that, but you see the train slowly coming, and you're like, come on, you can obviously see it. And for me, I was getting frustrated, more and more frustrated, and it just took over. It took over me, and the moment took over me, and then all of a sudden I became really frustrated with my dad, and I was like, Dad, please. I was like, I don't want you to watch me play golf anymore. I was like, go go back to the, I was like, go back to the blah blah blah, go back to the clubhouse and just wait there. And I was like, I just want to play, or go watch somebody else play. And as my dad left, you know, I stood there and I was like, it was this really difficult hole. It was like it was counted as one of the hardest golf holes in New Mexico. It was just ridiculous. I don't know why they designed it like this, but it's kind of how it was laid out, kind of how the PGA was. And these were high school kids playing. Like they don't have the ability to hit the ball that far, and it's ridiculous. So no one even got a good score on that during that tournament, and I was just frustrated. I was like, man, I bet everyone else has got a huge score on this hole right here. I was like, I can't be the only one that did bad on this. So I was really frustrated, and what my dad told me to do was lay up. It was basically take the safe route. He was just like, just hit it over here and then hit it over there, and you'll be all right. All you'll have to do is putt it once, and I'd be able to save my score. But instead, I was like, man, I'm gonna get this on the green, and I was about 280 yards away from the hole. Now, for some of you guys that know, and I only had 2 more hits until I got par. For you guys that don't know, this is a par 5 golf hole. So basically, you have 5 tries or 5 hits to get it into, and a hit is including, doesn't matter what club you use, a putter, whatever. Once you get to putting, those count as the same amount of strokes. So you have 5 hits to get it onto the green and into the hole. So I was on my 4th hit. No, I was on my 3rd hit, and I was still like midway of the fairway, because the first one that my drive didn't, it went 250 yards, and then it didn't even get halfway there, which usually that should get you well over halfway, to your destination. Because usually a golf hole is no bigger than 400, or like, the par 5s are 500 plus, but this one was like 650, and I was like, man, how is anyone gonna get a good score on this? So I searched that cave, trying to look for another one, but I only had 2 more hits left, and I was still way out. I was in the distance where I would be lucky if I got it in 3. So I'd be lucky if I got 1 over, which is a bogey, which is 6 hits. I'd be lucky if I got that, because it was just too far. So I hit the ball, and I didn't lay up like my dad said, and it ended up going in the water. And when you hit it in the water, it adds as an extra stroke, plus the one that you need to hit after that, to get back in the game, to get yourself out of the hazard, which is what water calls a hazard. And I hit it in. I was trying to be a hero, and hit it over this lake, over this part of the lake, and instead of laying up, instead of taking a safe route and going along the fairway, along the grass, and not going over the water. And as I hit the ball, I just see I was so frustrated that my arms are really tense. I noticed that because I was scared that I was gonna get in the water, and that's what ended up happening. Was I hit it into the water, and I was like pissed. I was pretty pissed off. I should get some of these cacti. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but I'll just cut them down anyways. But I was so frustrated that I hit the ball into the water, and oh man. And I called my dad back, and I was like, I looked at him, and I was like, man, I should have just listened to you. I could have saved myself there. And I ended up playing the rest of the game, and I was just sitting there like self-loathing. I was like, man, my dad was so excited to come to the tournament, because he he doesn't normally get to come here because he's always working, and I was just pissed off at him, and you know, like, this is some time that, you know, for me and my dad, and that the rest of the game, like, I was just frustrated like that, and I was thinking like, man, and my dad says, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Well, I yelled at you." And he's like, "So?" He's like, "I know you're frustrated. I shouldn't have, you know, interfered. I should have just let you play the game." But he was like, "I saw you getting mad though. I saw you like tensing up." And he's like, "You should just, you know, just calm down. Just play the game. Just play it out. Have fun." You know, he's like, "You don't expect to win your second tournament." So it was my second tournament, and I was trying so hard to win because I was like, man, I'm getting sponsorships and all this, and people are paying a lot of money for me to do this, and I was like, I gotta do it. I gotta be the best. I gotta win and show them that they're not losing on their investment. That's what I'd say now, but back then it was like they're losing out on money, you know, that they could use towards somebody else who's a lot better than I am. But yeah, like I just felt so much pressure at that time, and my dad could see it. My dad could see all the pressure getting to me, and he gave me those words, and during that whole tournament, like, I did so bad. I did horrible in that tournament. But my dad was still smiling at the end of the game. Just like it was like a moment where I was like, man, I should have listened to him at that moment. It's kind of like with drinking. My dad said never drink. Once again. Fail. So, talking to my dad this last time, I was like, I feel so shitty. And he said the same thing. Just have fun. It's just ridiculous. I need another drink. Let me catch myself again. Oh, grass. I need a hoe. Sorry, guys. Trying to catch myself again. I mean, it's when you realize stuff, it just gets to you. But the show must go on. Gotta have fun, like my dad says. I got all this grass. I need to make a hoe. God damn, girl, you got a fat ass. There we go. So, I just need to have fun, like my dad says. Instead of wasting my life drinking and losing jobs. Wait, how's this? Aren't you supposed to be able to get this grass? How about like that? How come I'm not getting any seeds? Oh, there we go. There's a seed. Okay guys, so just thinking about like what my dad said, man, it could have definitely, I guess, like, my dad had the same message for me, which is, you know, he's still proud. And then I need to just have fun. Quit worrying about dumb shit. It's so tough when you realize it and it hits you. I never picked up on it until now. Gotta get all this grass, son. So I guess I could talk to you guys about some of the dumb shit that's happened when I was, when I was drinking, and some of the dumb shit like going to jail. I'll talk to you guys about that. Going to jail was like one of the worst things that could ever happen. Man, there's just like grass for days. Let me throw some of these around so you guys can see, so it's not, it's not as dark. Let me make sure I just light up this area for all you home skillets. Alright, there we go. So the night that I got my DUI, I was oh man, it was ridiculous. Like, at that time it was like my second year drinking alcohol. Well, no, it's my first year, and I didn't know how much I could handle, but I just remember me and my friend would drink a lot of 40s, and 40s are malt liquor for you guys who don't know, and they're really high alcohol content, and they're under the beer. They're really cheap, and they're horrible tasting, and they're just horrible. You would never drink it unless you're an alcoholic. That's pretty much what it is, or you're a homeless person, because they're so high in concentration. I mean, it's ridiculous that people drink that. And a lot of college kids drink it because it's kind of like this. When you're in high school and you don't have anyone to buy for you, like, you can always buy a 40 and it'll get you drunk. But as you get older, your tolerance builds up, and you can. For me, I started drinking more than 140, and at that time I would drink like 3 40s. And that night I drank like 4 of them, and I drank 3 of them, and I was really, really drunk, and I wanted some Burger King. Now I don't know why. Goddamn girl, you got a fat ass. Get out of here. I had this urge to get a Whopper, and I went out. And I went out to my car, and I started driving down. I don't even remember doing this, but I remember going to Burger King, getting my food, and I actually went to the store and bought another 40, even though I had drank 3 already, and I had a 4th one already in my car, and I had the one that I bought. Because when you're drunk, you're just like, more alcohol, more alcohol. You don't really give a shit. You just start doing it, and I got, I had 4 of them. well, you know, I had 3 of them, and then I had the one in my car, and then I opened this new one, and I was sitting in I started drinking it in my car, and I started, you know, driving home, and like an idiot, I was driving around, and so I go into this red light, and I take a right-hand turn, just a normal right-hand turn, and I go into the second lane, and the cop pulls me over. Cause just for going into the second lane, cause that's, you know, you can only go into the first right lane if you're taking a right-hand turn, and you know, obviously he was just pulling people over because there's a lot of people who are drunk at night, especially like where I live in Tempe, where, you know, there's all kinds of college people. God. Where there's all kinds of college people out here, and they're all getting drunk, and, you know, I think at that time too, it was like summertime, so there was a lot of drunk people out, and I started like, oh man, I hope I can do a lot with the seeds, and so I started driving home, and, you know, I got pulled over at the street light. And then as soon as the cop came up to the window, I opened the door, I put my beer down, and I pulled out all my information and I gave it, you know, I gave him my he said, let me see your license, registration, all that. I gave him my license, gave him my registration. I got out of the car, and he and I turned around, and I was like, you know what, I've been drinking, and I shouldn't have been driving, and then he was like, okay. And then he didn't really, like, he read me my rights and all that, but that's pretty much all he did. He just said, you know, we're gonna take you in, and he told me that, you know, he read my Miranda rights and all that stuff, so you guys understand what I'm talking about. So you're being arrested for this and blah blah blah, and read me all my rights, and I didn't remain silent because, well, the cops don't even need you to speak, especially if you're drunk or whatever. Like, they can just say that you're drunk and you can get a DUI, especially here. That's kind of how the laws are here in Arizona, and, you know, and then they take you to the station. But if they can't prove you're drunk, then, you know, obviously they can't persecute you after they take you in. But I went in there, and I blew, like, okay, so so the you know, normal alcohol people that drink a beer, like drink a couple beers, like if you could just go to the bar and you have a beer and then you come out, usually have like a .008 or something like that along those lines, BAC level. Well, mine was a 2.125 or something ridiculous like that percent alcohol level, and they said I was going into the area where I would get brain damage if I drank anymore, and I had 2 other 40s, so essentially, like, the cops saved my life, or at least saved me from drinking myself straight out retarded, and which still, I mean, it was still bad, but at least I didn't get, like, at least I didn't go retarded from it, is basically what I'm trying to say. And so I get to jail, and then I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm just in there in jail, and I have no clue. Like, I'm really drunk, like blacked out drunk. I have no clue I'm in jail. You know, they took my car, they towed my car away, and I wake up the next morning, and I'm staring at a white wall. Like, I'm like, where am I? And I thought I was at home because I have white walls like that. And so I'm like, oh man, that was crazy. I was like, why did I drink so much? And I get up, and I'm like, and the bed is like really like metal hard. Like, you have like a really thin a really thin like cushion that they give you to put on your bed, to put as your cushion, your bed cushion. And then I hear like this, I hear bars banging, like metal banging really loud, and the cops like, "Get up, guys, breakfast." And there's a guy below me, and he has throw up all over his bed because he was throwing up all over himself. And then I'm like, "Oh man," and it stunk in there. And he took his shirt off and he started like cleaning himself up, cleaning everything up with his shirt. It was pretty disgusting, but at least he got it clean, and he didn't stink as bad after he like cleaned himself with the toilet water. Cause you have your toilet and your regular water stuck together. But he didn't give a shit. He was already like, he was still drunk probably, so he didn't really give a shit. And he's like just really he was just really drunk still. And they gave us our breakfast, which are like these microwavable dinners or breakfasts, whatever. They were actually pretty good. The ones that were in that jail cell, the regular Tempe jail cell, those were pretty good dinners. They weren't as bad as when I actually got sent to the prison. And I didn't get sent to prison. I got sent to like an outdoor type of jail. But so after like they woke me up, they were like, "You guys have court in an hour." So I sat in there, and I just went back to bed. And after I ate my breakfast, and I was just so pissed off at myself. I'm like, I was almost crying. Like I was just thinking like, man, I just wanted to get Burger King. And I just felt so bad about myself at that time. And then they wake us up, and they woke me up again when I had to go into court to figure out what I was gonna do after that. Like I was gonna have to go to do all sorts of things. But before I actually went into they chained us all up. They put us in a chain gang pretty much, and we all are chained at the ankles, and we were all taken towards the courtroom, which is actually just upstairs from the jail. The jail's under all the police department, under all the courthouse and all that. And then so I start, we're all in a chain, all strapped to, or we're all chained at the legs, and we go down, we take the elevator upstairs, and then the cops pushing everyone around like how cops do. And he basically like tells us all that to stand in line and don't talk, and they unchain us when we're actually in the courthouse. And there's a lot of other people that are in there, like just for other petty crimes. People are doing stuff, and everyone that was in that chain gang, everyone that had a DUI, because I was in a DUI sort of unit, and everyone had a DUI there. And everyone had their different stories, and I remember a few stories from some of the other people. Like some people were getting DUIs for riding their bikes, and some people were getting DUIs for riding golf carts around, like when they're drunk and stuff like that around campus. And they asked me, and I was like, I just went to get some Burger King, and the guy was like, "That sucks. I love Burger King." one of the guys that was in there. And so we get in there, and then I'm in the courthouse, and everyone's going into this pre-court like area where these basically like the in-house attorney talks to you about your options, about what you can do, and what options you have as far as your punishment. And I had all the worst punishment because according to my BAC level, I was in dangerously. I was putting everyone in danger the most because my BAC level was insanely high. So I had something called what is it called? I think they called it at that time a um I don't remember what it's called. Now it's called a super DUI or something like that. But back then it was just called a I don't remember, like a heavy DUI or something like that. Now they call it the super DUI because they've actually made they've made it they've made all the punishments for that amount of BAC level like really super punishable, because it is really high and really dangerous, and they catch a lot of people doing it. So they didn't punish me with the what they would have punished me now, but I had just gotten my DUI just before they started these new laws, which oh man, like if the new laws would have happened before. How do you hoe these but not destroy them? Is this the right tool? Okay. Why is it just destroying them? I thought it was like... I thought it would, I don't know. Let me try just throwing a couple of seeds on here. Let's just see if those grow. I really don't know what I'm doing with the seeds. But yeah, but back then, like the DUIs, they were not as crazy as they are now. Like now you get like years in jail instead of just, a few months or whatever. And it was kind of crazy for me because okay, so I'm in there, and the guy's giving me all my options, and one of the options he's like, okay, so you got multiple tickets. One ticket is from you, just from the DUI itself. You got a ticket for taking 2 lanes, doing a right hand turn. You got another ticket for avoiding the cops, and that ticket, that one didn't even make sense, because there was only he's like, you avoided the cops for 20 seconds or something. They time you from when you get pulled over, and I was like, 20 seconds? What are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, it's an extra whatever $100 or something like that. And I was like, it was just so lame. Like they're just trying to pack on as many charges as they can. And I was like, whatever. And then at the end he was like, we can take all of these charges, and we'll give you only one charge if you just plead guilty. If you don't plead guilty, you can go and get a lawyer. You can go through all that jazz. He's like, in the end, you're going to end up paying more. He's like, trust me, I go through these every day, and I see everyone trying to do lawyers, and they always fail. And they always get a harsher sentence, and they always do this and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you see this? He's like, this is 90 days in prison. He's like, you don't want that. He's like, if you take this to court, you're going to have to do 90 days. He's like, I know, I've never seen a lawyer win a case, especially when the BAC level is this high. And he's like, here's the deal. Like, he's like, the judge is really nice, and she takes pity on a lot of the college kids out here, because she knows, it's tough, and there's a lot of pressure out there, and there's a lot of kids, and blah, blah, blah. He gave me this whole speech. And then he was like, you know what? I'll take away all this. You do 10 days in jail, and we'll take all of these bills, or we'll take all of these charges, and as long as you plead guilty. If you don't plead guilty and you want to question it at all, he's like, then we're just gonna go ahead with the proceedings, and you're gonna have to bring in a lawyer and do all this. And it was kind of ridiculous. Like he was just like he was totally like, you don't need to. He's like trying to get me not to do it. Not to not plead guilty. So I pled guilty. You know, I was like, 10 days in jail. I can do 10 days. I can do 10 days anywhere or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, just put me in whatever. I'll stay in prison. My idea was I was going to stay in that prison with those awesome, like, breakfast meals. I was like, it's not too bad. Like, why do people say prison food is bad? But I wasn't in prison. I was in jail. That's why. There's a huge difference between prison and jail. And with jail, it's just the everyday man's sort of stuff. There's no seriousness to it. It's kind of like, you know, every person. It's not like a place where, you know, where you see on the movies where you get shanked and everything. Like, it's not like that in the prison, or I mean in the jail. But in prison it is. If you get sent to prison if you have medical conditions, or if you have like, oh my God, these cows are gonna eat my grass and everything. Get out of here. That's probably the case. I probably need to put like something around there so the cows don't get it, I guess. But yeah, and I learned that when I went to jail, and I'll tell you guys about that. So I go to court and I do all that. I talk to the judge, and she was in a bitchy mood that day, and but when it got to me, she was like really nice to me for some reason, but she was really mean to everyone else pretty much. But for some reason, I think she just wanted me to get through it, like, cause I already told the guy, I was like, I'm pleading guilty, and I guess she was like, oh, he's pleading guilty, okay. I'm just gonna get him through. I'm not gonna question him too much about anything. I'm just gonna get him through. And I kind of felt like taken care of with her, because I don't know, I just didn't feel like I was in a bad position or anything like that, at least with that judge. Oh, here's fences. I need to build some fences so I can I heard that the cows or whatever can or the animals can eat your grass. I don't know if that's true, but I'm gonna take precautionary steps. And so I got through my court stuff really fast, and then I get out of the jail, and I didn't have my car. I didn't have anything to get home with, and I lived 10 miles away from my my house and everything. Yo, get out of there, pig. I lived 10 miles away from the courthouse, so I didn't have my battery on my cell phone was dead. They took the batteries out, and they didn't, my batteries were already dead before I went in, and everything was just bad, really. Everything was just not going right that day. And it was terrible. So I took the 10-mile walk home, and I was like, whatever, it's 10 miles, I can make it. So I walked home, and granted, this is Arizona, so I don't know how many of you know the temperatures and stuff like that out here in Arizona, but it's not like it's not easy sailing. It's really hot out here. So I go through the 10 miles home, and then I get home, and I was just feeling like shit, and luckily I had a bike, so I was biking my way to work, and then I asked my friend to go and my friend dropped me off at I had no way of getting my car out, because you need somebody there with a driver's license to get your car out, because they just can't give it to you, because you obviously I had my driver's license taken away, obviously from the DUI. and they told me that I couldn't get I couldn't get my license back for a year. And I was like so bummed out from that. But okay, so they took away my license. They took away basically my car. They put it in impound, and there was no way of me getting it back. So during that time, I was just so screwed, and I would ask my friend to give me rides to work and give me rides to school because I was still going to school at that time. And I rode my bike all the time, and I remember trying just like just because light up my day, I would just ride my bike as fast as I can, trying to beat my friends to work. And I don't even know why I mentioned that, but okay, so I go, I go with my friend to the impound lot to get my car out. And I paid I think I paid $600 to get my car out, which is that was ridiculous to get my car out. And all they did was like move it I think they moved it 20, no, what am I, 20, 200 feet or whatever they said. But for them, that was enough to charge me that amount of money just to get my car back. And then plus it was in there for a couple weeks, and it was, by the time I got my car back, stuff had been sitting in there, like my oh Jesus, starting to feel tired now. The Burger King that I mentioned before was still in there. And it was just it was the most disgusting smell I've ever that's ever been in my car ever. And I could probably still smell it in there a little bit, because it was just disgusting. It was crazy. And so I get my car back, and I go, now it's time for me to go to jail. And I'd given my she gives you time that she gave me options on when I can go to jail. And I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that you can get options or whatever. But she gave me options, and I took it during, I was like, make sure it's not during the summer, because I'm gonna die if it's during the summer. I'm gonna die outside, because it's an outdoor jail. If you guys don't know where it is, check out go to Google and type in Tent City, Arizona, and you will know what it looks like. It is a well-known jail. It is one of the worst jails in the nation. You never want to be there. And there's a reason why they made it the worst, just so people wouldn't ever get a DUI again. And yeah, it definitely makes me never want to get a DUI again. But it's an outdoor jail, so I picked my time during the fall, and so it's my time to go to jail now. And I was just feeling so shitty about it the entire time. I was like, man, I'm gonna have a horrible time there, and everything, I might get raped. I was making up all these stupid things in my head were just going on, like, you're gonna get raped, and you're gonna get jumped, and everyone's gonna hate you there, and everything's just gonna go crazy, and nothing's gonna work out for you. And that's just what happens when you're going to jail. All those thoughts happening in your head, and you have to take it for granted. I mean, well, what am I saying? You should just take it with a grain of salt, because obviously it's just your mind, talking about it. And I was just so bummed out. Well, obviously I'm going to jail, so I mean, it sucks, but at the same time, you kind of deserve going to jail if you're gonna be driving drunk and endangering people's lives. So I go to jail, and I have to drive there, and at that time it was illegal for me to drive. very, very illegal. If I would have gotten caught, I would just gone back to prison. They would have. I would have just gone to prison for a year. There was no like. There was no leeway to that. You just go to prison for a year. There's no. There's nothing you can do about it if you get caught. And I was like, whatever. I mean, what? How much worse could this get? I would go to prison, whatever. I'm already going to jail. So you know, they basically search you. They don't make you like get naked or anything. They just, because there's so many people in there for DUIs that, you know, they just want to get you, you know, through the thing. They basically check your eyes to make sure you're not drinking, not doing anything stupid. And then they go through your, you know, your vitals and check you out and make sure you're not taking any drugs or sneaking anything in. That's a big thing that they look out for. And basically you go into jail and it's all these tents and you're in all these tents and it's just, you know, ridiculous. It smells in there. It's horrible weather outside. And where the jail was built, there was like a slaughterhouse next to, you know, next to that jail, and it was just disgusting. It was the most disgusting smells in the morning. You could just hear like, you could just smell all the, you know, the bloody animal flesh like across. You just smell like, you know, just all these horrible smells in the morning. It was ridiculous. But you know, aside from that, everyone there was, you know, always, everyone in the jail obviously is pissed off. There's all these little gangs in there too. Like, I didn't think there was gangs in like a jail like that, because it's just, you know, petty crimes and stuff, you know, people getting tickets for, you know, for getting parking, for not paying their parking tickets and stuff like that. And then you got people who are in there for who are in there like me, a bunch of college kids who got DUIs, and each of them have different stories. And then you have these guys in there that are in these little gangs, and there's like old people in there too that are in gangs. It's kind of weird. It's like, I remember this old man when I was there, he got punched in the face because he didn't go to this, the white people, they're called woods. So, you know, for Pecker Woods or whatever, this old white guy, he didn't go to his Peckerwood meeting and he got punched out while he was there. And I was kind of laughing. I was like, that old man got punched out for not going to one of those meetings? And they're like, yeah, it's serious business, bro. And I was like, okay, well, you know, whatever. I didn't understand it. I was just like, I was kind of laughing at him, and they're like, you know, it's not that funny, bro. And so, you know, I didn't really have fun there. What am I saying? But it was pretty crazy, and just the fact that old man got punched out, still kind of funny. I don't care what people say. Shit is hilarious. That old man. Come on, man. Are you gonna punch an old man for not going to your Peckerwood meetings? But yeah, so, you know, they tried to recruit me to this like brown person gang, and I was like, you know, bros, like, they came up to me, and all I did was I went back to my tent and I just went to bed. Like, they were like harassing me too. Like, they were like, if you don't come to this, like, we're gonna kick your ass or whatever. And I was like, what? Yeah, I'm a big guy, so I'm like, whatever, I don't really give a shit. Like, you can come fight me. I'm used to fighting people. So I'm like, I mean, what are you guys gonna do? What are you gonna, like, tell the Peckerwoods that I was talking shit or something? I mean, I'm just sitting there like messing with them, but I mean, that probably wasn't a smart thing to do, but especially being in a place that you know, I don't even know about. I'm just an odd man out. But honestly, I didn't give a shit. Like, if they're gonna fight, like, you know, if I was gonna fight, I was gonna fight. But the thing is, it sucks if you fight, because you get added time and everything. And I wasn't about to do that, so all I did was I just went back to my my tent, and I just shut the fuck up, and I didn't say anything to anyone. And I just actually read books during that entire time, during my entire 10 days there. And it wasn't a big deal. I mean, it was just 10 days, but 10 days is a really long time when you're in prison. Not in prison, in jail. Especially when you're out in like when you're out in the desert, like, and you know the only air conditioning you have is a fan. And there was this kid there. He was oh man, like he never took showers or something. Like he would go, because you can go home during the day, so you can go, because it's called work release, and I had that, so you could go, go do your job so you don't get fired. And I had work release, and there was this kid in there that he was just like, I don't know why he wouldn't take a shower. Like, why wouldn't he go home and take a shower? So he would not take a shower. People would pick on him. He got punched out because he got punched in the face because someone, didn't like the way he smelled. And he was like a little kid. He just turned 18 or something, because you have to be 18 to go to jail. And he just turned 18, and he was scared, and everyone was picking on him. And I was like, bro, don't be afraid of them. I was like, they tried to put me in their little gang the other day, and I was like, I wasn't having it. I just told him no. And they wanted him to join the Peckerwoods gang or whatever. And so obviously, like, he just left or whatever. He didn't leave. I mean, what am I talking about? He basically just he went home, and the next day he came back, and he smelled like a fucking flower. But that day he was, he got punched out. I guess it was a harsh lesson in what do you call it, hygiene, personal hygiene. But man, those people in there were pretty serious, but some of them were in there for like 90 days. Like, one guy was in there because he kept drinking. Like, I don't know, like there's some people like that just don't want to give up drinking. I don't know why. Like, why would you keep drinking if you're going to jail that many times? It's just ridiculous. Hold on, I gotta check a Skype message real quick. Sorry guys. It's my boy Chris Smooth. It's, man, how isn't it like 5 in the morning for him? I was talking about how Alpressor was showing some of his PS3 gameplay, and he's just like, he was just raping kids. Like, I mean, I wish I had a PS3 so I could get some gameplays like that. The Xbox, there's a lot, people on the Xbox, they play the game. I think they play the game a lot more. I don't know what it has to do with the Xbox, but on the Xbox, people, I think it has to do with the headsets, because you can communicate with all your teammates and all that. I know you have headsets on PS3, but it's not as great. Anyway, let's go back to the jail scene. So there's the Peckerwoods, there's all these guys, there's a kid that stunk like ass, and everyone hated him because he smelled like ass and he wouldn't take showers when he was going home, and there's all those people, and then there's the guys that try to recruit me to a gang, and then there's all these actually let me go and nap so it can be daytime. And there's all these like stupid little things that happen in jail. And you see these people like sneaking in marijuana, sneaking in like cigarettes. But the thing is, like, if you get caught with cigarettes, you are just straight out fucked. Like, you are going to jail. You are going to stay in there for another like 30 days is what they add. If you because you can't smoke in the yard. But you can buy the cigarettes from them, but you can't smoke your own. You can't bring in your own cigarettes. And you also can't have lighters. You have to have one of the security guards light it for you. And there's all these like commissary, like all these commissaries, like the stuff you can buy, like like chips and playing cards, and they even sell like used books in there, like just stuff. Stuff that people have left, like books people have left behind, or books that are donated to them by, usually they're like all these religious books, and I don't know why people would buy those. And there's also like priests there. They have the Native American guys. They get like these special like sweat lodge areas that they can go into, and because there's like tradition there, they can do stuff like peyote and stuff like that in there. um, and they don't do like that. Of course, they don't smoke peyote in there, but they like ingest it, which is pretty much the same thing. You're just gonna get really high off of it, and they they had all those things. They call it, the tradition or whatever, and they, as part of their tradition that they do that. But really, they're just doing it just so they could smoke peyote, and well, not smoke it, but ingest it, just so they can, their time can go through a lot faster. But they they did all that stuff, and then there was like all the little gang fights, and I tried, I met a few guys there that were pretty cool, like a bunch of Mexican dudes that were really cool. Like we would just talk about, how much like people hated Joe Arpaio, who's a sheriff out here in Arizona, and talk about, just random things that we do. And this guy was always talking about girls that he met at clubs and stuff like that, because during his work release he wouldn't go to work. He would just go out and party and do stuff that he normally does. He just got the work release so he could go home during the day, and you just go there during the night, really. So but during the weekends you have to stay there the entire weekend, and I never ate during the weekend because the food in jail, the outdoor jail, was the worst thing ever. Like they had like mystery meat, literally, they would serve, and it was the most like disgusting thing you could think of. Like imagine, taking hash browns and not hash browns, imagine taking corn hash. I don't know if you guys know what that is, corn hash beef or corned beef hash, and like mixing it in with Spam and mix it in with Chef Boyardee. That's basically what they would serve. And actually they serve bread there. I'd eat the bread because the bread was made actually by other prisoners, and believe it or not, like it was fresh bread. Like it was like delicious. It was better than bread that you get at Subways. But one thing is, like, people say, ew, you're gonna eat that, like, bread from prison or whatever, that's made by prisoners and made by other people who are in the jail. No, you don't understand. Like, when you're in jail, you don't want to fuck with anyone's food, especially if you're in you're doing the chef stuff, or especially if you're in the cell with all those other people. Like, you're not gonna fuck with their food. You're not gonna spit in it. You're not gonna jack off in like inside the bread, because you have to eat it too, and everyone else has to eat it. So like that was explained to me by one of the this one dude I met in there who was like one of the he was in the actual prison. Like he was just doing time. He was doing time because he like shanked someone or something. He like stabbed someone, so he had to do time for that, and he had to do a lot of time for that. And he was in there for like 4 or 5 years, but since he was in there for that long, he had all these stories that he would tell me about, like about him and his friends, and it was really cool. And the reason why he got to hang out is because he had to clean toilets and stuff like that for the people who, the people in the DUI sort of area, in the jail area. And oh man, just clean. He was like, cleaning toilets here is better. He's like, the people in the actual prison, like they're really dirty or whatever, so he would rather clean like the people from from the area of like the normal common man jail or whatever, than clean the prison, because in there he said you could get stabbed too. Like people were crazy in the actual prison. And that's actually where they had DMX. Like they had DMX in the jail at that time. And they also had another person they had in while I was in there was Mike Tyson. He was actually in the same prison at same he was in it. I wasn't in the prison though. I was in the jail, like I said. So I didn't get to see Mike Tyson or anything, but he was in there when I was in there. And so was DMX in the same prison. So I thought that was kind of cool. And So, you know, talking to that guy, you know, I started to, you know, I trusted the bread that they had there. And, you know, talking to that guy, he was a really awesome guy. And he talked to me about his time drinking. And he said he never really got in trouble for drinking. It wasn't a big deal. Like, his whole family drank, and it wasn't, you know, it was no big deal at all. And I was like, for me, it's a big deal because I'm, you know, I'm kind of addicted to it. And he was like, well, I used to do heroin, and he said all this crazy shit. So it made me feel better about my drinking problem. And I was like, at least I'm not doing heroin like this dude. At least I'm not like, you know, I'm not in jail for stabbing someone because they didn't give me they didn't give me my heroin or whatever. And that guy was crazy. So, and you know, just thinking about that stuff, it was kind of ridiculous. Like, all the, you know, me being in prison with all those guys while I, you know, just was trying to get some food at Burger King. But at the same time, obviously, I was endangering lives and doing all that stuff. So I learned my lesson about, you know, getting a DUI. I never like really drank or drive after that. I did actually kinda, but I was like, I made sure that I was coherent enough to be able to drive. And part of the reason why, you know, I got in trouble, you know, with my work thing was because someone was like questioning whether I could drive or not at that time. And it was just ridiculous. But I didn't end up driving. I got a cab, and oh man, it was I got in a fight because of that, because the guy tried to stop me, and then I wasn't having it, so I, you know, punched the new guy, and we got in a fight. No, we didn't really get in a fight. It's just sort of him like pushing me away from my, you know, from me being a dumbass, pretty much. I heard you could put like oh yeah, so I don't even need these on here anymore. I can throw these on there. Sweet. Let me cut these down. So I should make a nice wide entrance in here instead of this like really thin one. So yeah, going to prison is not fun. It's the worst thing ever. God damn. This is going to be a really long one. That's what she said. Man, I just skipped out today on playing Modern Warfare 2. I should have at least played it a little bit. Anyway, okay, so from going to jail during my DUI and all that, at that time, like, everything was going sort of well with my family back home. There wasn't really that much craziness going on. But then all of a sudden, my sister was basically taken to the hospital, and she was barely alive. Like, she got cirrhosis of the liver. She got stage 4 cirrhosis of the liver, which is there's like 5 stages, and she was almost on the final one, and her liver was destroyed. Like, she had nothing really there. Like, it was bad. They said that you can jump over the fences. It's fucking liars. There we go. My sister got taken to the hospital, and she was administered into the hospital, and she was nearly dead. I remember visiting her, and she was like, she was rude. She was really, really rude at that time. She was just like, I just want to die, you know, like, I just, I wish I died instead of, them saving me. And she was saying all this stuff like that. And I was like, man, that, why would you say that in front of, especially in front of her kids? I was kind of pissed off because, my nephews were right there listening to her say all this. Like, I should have just, I should have died instead of being alive and all this stuff. And I'm just like, you're such a bitch. Like, that's all, that's all I was going through my head was, God, my sister's such a bitch. Like, I was just like, so like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. And my sister, like, she didn't care. Like, she said it and just kept on, sitting there like just being a bitch. And I was just really pissed off at that time. And now, like, I sort of understand what she means. Like, especially if you go through all that stuff, it gets ridiculous. Like, drinking really tears you down. It really gets under you. It really, like, fucks with you. I mean, you get depressed, especially when your body is like just, going to shit, and you're like, God, you're like, I'm just a terrible person. You start to think all these sorts of things like that. Like, you just can't bear yourself. You can't bear, like, being alive. You just don't want to be alive, really. You think being alive is like a terrible thing. And since I haven't been drinking, like, that's pretty much been my mentality, is like, it's not a terrible thing. It's, it's life. Life is really great. We just take it for granted. And, things happen, and, who am I to say, like, that, that I should just take my life away when my dad still has so much faith in me, and faith that I'm going to do, like, some incredible things with my life, and that I'm going to be like I'm going to be the man, that he couldn't be because he didn't have the same opportunities. And I'm going to be like, and I'm going to grow up and be, everything that he ever wanted to be. And I'm going to do, like, some incredible things in my life. And he's going to get to live through that through me, because I'm going to be able to, bring that. But in my head, I'm like, And the reason why I'm thinking that is because, like I said, the alcohol, like, it definitely, like, fucks with your mind. You don't ever want to do that. I mean, you don't ever give a shit about, like, whether or not your family's gonna benefit, or, I mean, is gonna lose, from you being an alcoholic. Or you never know, you never, like, think of the consequences. You just keep thinking about the next drink. And that's kind of how I feel even today. Like, today I felt like, man, I was like, I kind of want to drink. I kind of want to have if I just have just one, I'll be fine. I'm not an alcoholic anymore. I'm just, I'll just have one. And there's a lot of people who casually drink. I was even looking on videos, like, you know what? I'm just gonna get, I'm just gonna become a moderate drinker, just a casual drinker. It's funny because you can't really do that. Like, it's just not possible. Once you've been an alcoholic, like, your brain is hardwired that way from then on. Like, that is your MO, is like, you are going to be an alcoholic for the rest of your life. You've pretty much, you haven't, like, done, like, severe, well, for me, I haven't done, like, severe damage to my brain, because I had, all that, I had my whole body tested, like, my liver functions and all that, to make sure that I didn't have severe damage. I did, however, have severe damage as far as my health in general, which is just, something I have to work on and, work out, get everything right. And that'll come in due time, as I, stop drinking and doing all that. So that'll work out. But for me, like, man, I really need to work on staying completely abstinent, because I've been through so much shit that I just can't believe that I'd still even think about it. This has been a really long one. I don't even know how long I've been talking to you guys about, going to jail and stuff like that, but Jesus Christ. If you guys want to hear some funny jail stories, go watch Hard 8 Times. He has like a video. He has this video series that he's doing where he's talking to, I would say, he's talking about his time being in jail, like hard, like prison jail, like, going to where you can get shanked, like in the movies and all that. Like, he went to the really hardcore shit. Not me. I didn't go to the super hardcore jail, but I did go to jail, but I didn't go to prison. Prison's a whole different story. Prison's like a place you never want to find yourself in. It is ridiculous. But yeah, guys, I mean, it is not fun, like being, an alcoholic. And I mean, in the beginning it kind of is, but as you grow up, you figure out, like, what's it even do for me? Like, is it really worth all the risk? Like, I've been through so much shit that and I've disappointed so many people doing it. Like, why do I still have the urge to do it? Why not just quit, But at the same time, it's hardwired into your head after you do it as extensively as I did. And then the question comes, like, okay, well, what's next? Like, what am I gonna do next? Am I gonna be, am I gonna be a man about it, or am I gonna be a little, or am I just, not even gonna care and not care about my family's feelings and just do whatever I want? Which is kind of I have a lot of brothers, and a lot of them have that have that way of going about things. Is like, they're like, it's my life. I'll do whatever I want. I'm gonna go out and get drunk as shit, and just not be oblivious to everyone's feelings, and who cares? I'm just gonna do it. I don't, it's not their lives. It's not affecting them. That's what they're thinking in their mind, is like, it's not affecting them, but it is affecting everybody that is around them in a very serious way, in an extremely serious way. And they just, they seriously don't want to even think about it. They don't even want you to mention that they're hurting anyone, because they don't want to realize it. And I've realized that my brothers are like that, and I can't really help them. A lot of times they're in jail. And my sister's, for you guys that want to know, my sister's still alive. Hold on, I need to check. I'll let this burn while I check my Skype message real quick. All right, so yeah, my brothers are crazy. Like, well, a few of my brothers are. My little brother, my little brother is cool. I think me and him are the only me and him. He's the only brother that I can really get along with because me and him are well, we're similar in age and we're not like I'm only 2 years older than he is, but we definitely share a lot of the same interests. Like we both like had drug problem. We both had DUIs and all that stuff. But the one thing is like when I was a kid growing up, I just remember me and him used to talk, but we didn't even necessarily had to talk to each other. We would understand what each other said just by even just the looks we used to give at each other. Like, and I'm not talking about the really like homo looks or whatever you guys are thinking. I'm talking about like me and my brother had this. We didn't even have to talk, and we would be able to communicate to each other. I mean, that's how close we were. We had this bond that I don't think I've ever had with any other person. Like if I needed to say something and I couldn't say it, like, or say like, actually one time I had this really bad nightmare about my little brother. And, the next day, I called my parents just out of the blue. I didn't even know why I wanted to call them, but I called my parents. And my little brother, he actually got, his, at that, at the exact moment that I woke up in the morning. I woke up in the morning at like 1 o'clock. I went to bed at like 11 o'clock, and I woke up at 1 o'clock for no reason at all. And I was like, I had this really bad nightmare. And for some reason, I just remember the exact time. I looked at my my phone because I have it. It's my alarm clock. So I looked at my iPhone and I was like, okay, it's 1 o'clock. And so when I just went back to bed and I was like, oh man, and I was like sweating and I felt really anxious, like something had really bad had just happened, and I sort of was sitting there shaking because I didn't know what the feeling was. And my brother, I called. So in the morning I called my parents, and my brother apparently he got pulled or he went to jail. My little brother, and the reason why he went to jail was because he was driving one of his girlfriend's sisters into town, into the hospital because she was pregnant, and he was trying to get her, to the hospital because she was in labor, and my brother was drunk, and my brother didn't want to drive, but he had to because, no one else was there to drive her. So he was the only person around. So he got in trouble trying to rush her, and they didn't want to call the ambulance because the ambulance is fucking expensive. I don't even know if you guys know how much it's like a couple grand just to get, from one end of the city to the other. So they weren't about to pay like a couple grand just to, ride somewhere, my brother could probably take him. So my brother thought he could, race her to the hospital and get her there. And plus he wasn't concerned about, he wasn't really concerned about whether or not he's going to get pulled over and all that. He was just wanting to get her to the hospital. And so he got her to the hospital, and she got in there, and oh man, like no, what am I talking about? He did not get her to the hospital. He was racing there, and he was drunk, and the cops pulled him over. My brother gets out of the car, runs away from the scene, and he runs away from the cops, and then the cops find him running down the street. And I asked my brother, like, what, when did you get pulled over and all that? And he was like, 1 o'clock in the morning. He's like, she went into labor, and I had to get her to the hospital before, before she had the baby or whatever. And, he didn't know what to do, so he was just panicking, which is what I would have done. I would have started panicking too, and it was kind of ridiculous that happened. And oh man, my little brothers, the baby's fine now. For you guys that care, the baby's fine. Everything's fine. But my brother did his time in jail. But everything worked out. But it just had to work out, like, it was just ridiculous like that. Like, my brother had to go through all that just to help his girlfriend's friend out. And oh man, like, and for me to wake up at that exact time, there's still something, like, to me there's still a connection between me and my little brother. Like, there has to be a connection between us, because there's like, why would I wake up at that time? And why that specific, why would I be sweating that specific way? And there's just all kinds of things that that I wonder about, sometimes. And that's one of them. Is like, I definitely have a bond with my brother, and we definitely have shared a lot of the same experiences, because we've both gone through alcohol problems, and we've gone through a lot. And it is just ridiculous. I'm gonna have to start figuring out, like, what all these things do, so I can start making some cool stuff. I know, like, I can make a watch. Guess I can make that now. I don't remember exactly how you make it. I think it's like something like this. Or is it gold all around? Oh, never mind. I know what it is. Oh, what is that? Shears? Weird. Is this to like cut sheep? Where are the sheep at? I've never even seen this. There's a sheep down there. Let's go. I'm gonna go mess with this shears thing. Oh, here's some sheep. Do they like? Oh, sweet! You can get a whole bunch of wool. So okay, so with my DUI, the last parts of my DUI, I ended up having to pay $600 for the initial going to jail fee. So $6 grand right off the bat, just to go to the jail and to do all that court fees, and getting a ride in the lovely police car, and just going to the prison or going to the jail there. So $6,000 right off the bat, and they made payment arrangements with me and did all that jazz. And then I had to pay another, the $600 to go to get my car out. And then not only that, like, when I got my license back finally, they gave me something called an SR. It's something. It's not an SR-71. It's like it's some sort of like form that you have to fill out when you get a DUI, and for the next 5 years or whatever, that you have to fill out. And I don't think I have to do that anymore. I think I'm past like all that stuff now. But it's been like 6 years since I got my DUI. So I got all, I had to pay, like, overall it was around 10 grand. And if you think about it, if I would have just went to, and got a ride from a taxi cab for even $100, I could have taken a taxi cab, taken all my friends home, and it would have been a lot less money than getting in a DUI. And so it's not worth getting DUIs, children. um, but it was definitely one of the worst things that's ever happened in my life, and I don't wish it on anyone ever. It's just so it's oh man, it's just it's terrible. It's terrible. But yeah, guys. I mean, this has been I think this has been like the longest Minecraft thing I've ever done. It's pretty long, pretty crazy. I should have some more stuff to cook up. Didn't I have iron and stuff in here? Let's see. I don't think you can cook that. I think I got everything. I mean, I got my iron. I'll throw that in there just so oh, and I'll leave my redstone in here. Got my compass. Got my shears now. I never even seen those. Gunpowder. I know I need more gold so I can make a watch, but I don't have that. Okay, so that's burning. Just in there. Just throw that in there. I guess I can take this fence downstairs and see if there's anything that needs to be fenced up. So okay, so I paid $10,000, and then once I got my car back and I got all my stuff back from I got all my license back, I had to do an entire year of having a interlock device on my car, which is basically this thing that hooks into my car, my ignition. So every time I wanted to start my car, I had to blow into this. I had to blow into that into the ignition to make sure that there's no alcohol, no traces of alcohol in my breath. And if there was ever any trace of alcohol, it would not start the car. The car would not start, and it would suck, basically. My stuff is going mighty fine. So yeah, I had to do that. There was no getting around it. I had to do that for a year, and every month I had to pay $80. So that, just think about all those bills and plus the $80 to do that every month. And it was, oh man, it was the worst time ever. Just so much money, ridiculous amount of money. And I had to pay for that $80 a month. It was not fun. I don't even know how people can get a second one after paying $10,000. People are gonna literally like get drunk and drive and get another DUI. I mean, I've seen plenty of people do it. In Arizona is the worst state to get a DUI in, because there is no break for you. You just go straight to jail. You don't collect $200. You get fucked over. I mean, you are just screwed over for pretty much for the next 7 years with your insurance and all that stuff. Luckily, I'm done now, and with all the penalties, it has been a long ride. I definitely learned a lot from it, and like I said, my dad's words still reign true, that I need to take my time. Like, don't rush things. Like, take your time, have fun with life. It's not gonna be here very long, and you need to cherish like all the moments in your life, and you need to step your game up. Just do work and quit allowing things to frustrate you. And like I said earlier with the golf thing. Oh, and I found I have another gold mine. Look at this cave. It's a mini cave. There's a lot of coal in here. So yeah, I mean, just learning from all this. I'm sure like eventually one day, I think this might be like a one of those dungeons maybe. Yep. Sweet. Let me see what's over here. Sweet. This is really awesome. Now I have some mossy greenstone. Got some wheat, some bread, string, a bucket. What do you got in here? Another bucket. Mr. Bucket, he's tons of fun, Mr. Bucket. Get some more iron for days. Redstone, some more string. Mr. Bucket, he's tons of fun, Mr. Bucket. Alright, do I have room in here to collect this moss stone? Man, I should have thrown all this stuff in the thing, but I didn't. Let me let me get out of here so I can actually get all this stuff over here. But yeah, after after doing all that stuff, like now, oh man, like I totally wish that I knew, I guess it's just life experience. My dad had to go through some bad things in his life. So did my mom, and they both told me about him. And as much as they told me, like I had to learn it myself. I had to see all that for myself, and it was just it was an awesome thing. It's kind of awesome to make mistakes and then to know, like, to kind of realize that it's happened to your parents as well, and then you sort of feel closer to them. You feel, because as you mature into an adult, you sort of start to drift away from your parents because you're like, they're so lame, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, blah blah blah. You get into this whole thing of, my parents don't know shit. You start to think stuff like that, and then as you start to age further, you start to come back and you start to realize that what they're talking about was true. What they were saying to you was true, and you were just too young to understand. And that really, like, it wasn't your fault that you didn't understand. It's just, that's just what it was. That's just what it is, that that's just you growing up as a person, and everything sort of comes around. Everything's gonna be okay. That's really the underlying tone here, is everything's gonna be okay, and you don't really have to worry about, you don't have to worry yourself to death like my dad says. You can just have fun, and that's something I was always missing out on, and that's something I'll continue to miss out on. I'm sure in the future I'm gonna realize it again, that that I was harming myself and not really performing at my peak potential. So I'm gonna go down there, collect that mossy stone, then I might be done. I don't know how interesting the DUI stuff was for you guys, but I mean it was terrible. Now I have the interlock. I did my time doing. Oh, another thing is I had to go to counseling. I guess the counseling was like, and that was another like $100 every time I went. The counseling was like the worst thing ever. It was just like constantly like going to these meetings and talking to all these other people. But it was kind of funny. There was like priests in there. There was all kinds of people in there that got DUIs for all kinds of stuff. there was one guy that got a DUI because he was on a golf cart like chasing around horses, and he was drunk. So like the people who owned the horse like got pissed off at him, and they said that he was basically that he was like endangering them or their animals or whatever. I don't know. It was some bullshit story that they made up. But I mean, you know, they got him. They got the cops to take him away, and to get his golf cart back. Like his dad was more. The guy said his dad was more drunk than he was, and the cops asked his dad to take the golf cart back home or whatever. It's pretty funny. Can you not break that? Guess not. But yeah, they told him to take his cart back, and the dad drunkenly took the cart back, and that's just sort of how things went. And there was this girl in there. She was freaking like, she was gorgeous. Like she was hot as hell. Like this chick was just amazing. She said that she was actually she was gonna live at the Playboy Mansion or something. I don't know if she was lying or not, but she definitely could be there. Like she was like model hot. Like she was insanely hot, and she had gotten like a DUI or whatever because she worked at a bar, and she took a few shots from some people, and then she decided to drive home after work, and she didn't think it was gonna be a big deal. But as she was driving home, the cops pulled her over, and they just, she couldn't talk her way out of it. She said normally she can talk her way out of cops pulling her over, and she definitely like looked like she could do it. She was like one of the hottest chicks I've ever seen in my life. Like seriously, she was amazing looking. Definitely wife her up. Some guy is like banging the. I'm just playing. I'm not gonna say that. But she was definitely like a really beautiful woman, and that was awesome. Just seeing that. And then there's the priest guy. He was pretty funny. There was a doctor there that would do enemas. Like he would take wine and he would do an enema on himself, and an enema is like basically sticking a hot tube up your ass and letting the water go up your ass. But he was like putting up he was doing it so he could ingest wine into his body so that it wouldn't show up on a breathalyzer, because in order to get a breathalyzer test, you have to have the alcohol. You have to ingest the alcohol through your mouth. And he ingested the alcohol through his ass, so they weren't gonna stick the breathalyzer up his ass and have him fart or whatever. So he would never have a BAC reading, because he wasn't taking the alcohol through his mouth. He was taking it through his ass, and I guess they didn't know, and they just like assumed he was drunk, so. They took him in, and he actually was drunk. They just had to find a different way. I don't know how they figured it out, but yeah, it's obvious when you're drunk. And I guess he like put too much wine up his ass. Just kind of funny. And then the priest guy, he was just drinking all the communion. The communion is like if you don't know if you're not a Catholic, it's basically when if you guys have ever seen like where they drink they drink wine and then they take a piece of bread and they eat that, and it's supposed to mimic, like, wine's supposed to mimic the blood of Christ, and then the food is supposed to mimic the Jesus's flesh, and they do that, it's part of their rituals or whatever. But he would take the wine and he would just drink it all under the church's bill, and he got caught and he had to go to jail for that. I mean, he had to get a DUI, and he had to go to AA classes and all that. So the church, well, actually he didn't. He did get a DUI because he was riding a bike. He was riding a bike home, and he just got caught riding his bike, and he was drunk, and instead of doing public intoxication, if you're just riding any vehicle, even if you're riding a horse, you can get a DUI. So he got a DUI for that, and oh man, it was pretty funny listening to him. He was a jolly old man too. He wasn't mean or anything. He was pretty funny. He was a pretty cool guy. So you know he got thrown in for that, and you know he was in the AA class, the counseling class that I went to. Also, I had to go through a driving school class. I mean, I had to go jump through a lot of hoops, like just to get, you know, my stuff dealt with. It was kind of ridiculous, but you know, in the end, like I ended up learning a lot. I learned about the show Intervention because they would play that a lot. In that, you know, during my time there, that's kind of the lady there that was doing the counseling. She was obsessed with that show. She was so obsessed with with that stuff that she just basically made everyone watch it all the time and made everyone she got everyone into it. That, you know, it's at least it was kind of cool watching that. If you have to go to counseling, and I guess find someone that is obsessed with that show, because that's all they'll show you. And you don't have to sit there talking about, hello, my name is blah, my name is GFXLab and I'm an alcoholic. Hi, GFXLab. I mean, that's good for you too if you need that stuff. I mean, obviously it's good for people that are, you know, needing counseling, that sort of counseling, but I didn't need that. I really didn't I wasn't that crazy about alcohol, so man. But I guess I kind of am, because after not drinking for 3 weeks now, I'm still rushing through my head every day man, you need, you know, just get one drink and, you know, you'll be fine. But obviously I'm not going to do that. And man, it's been a long journey from here. You guys have been through, I mean, in this Minecraft alone, it was a long journey. And I hope you guys had, you know, interesting time listening to me. I don't know how many of you guys are actually going to listen to this far. But if you do listen to this far, say rooster testicles. And with that said, I think I'm just going to... I don't know why I went all the way down here. I'm going to go back upstairs and, you know... Well, not upstairs, but I'll just go over to the pool house and... I'll just see you guys out, and I hope you guys, so here's the house so far, if you guys kind of want to see it from outside. There's my crops there. I'm gonna build some bread and maybe make an oven and cook some of that up, and build some more of my humble abode, build out some of the inside, make it interesting, and then I'll give you guys the map when I'm done so you guys can check it out for yourself, have your own little tours. And I hope you guys have a really awesome day. I mean, I seriously mean, whenever I say I hope you guys have an epic day, I mean, I really do wish you guys the best, especially the ones who stick around and listen this far. I mean, this is a lot of time. There's a lot of time investment to watch these, and you know, I don't expect you guys to always watch every one of these, and I don't expect you guys to enjoy every one of these, but you know, for me, this is just me, my time to basically give my own self a sort of self-therapy, and I get to listen to myself talk. I get to, you know, just express myself. And if you guys don't understand some of the things I've said here, you know, you have questions about, you know, me, and I don't know if you want to know more about, you know, my experience with whatever I've talked about during this time, leave it in the comment section below. That's what it's for. And or just send me a PM if it's really personal and you don't want to, you know, you don't think that it's, you know, it's for everyone to talk about. And also, I do, you know, I do message people back on my personal messages, but you know, I filter it out, because you know, I get messages all the time, people asking for backgrounds and asking for other stuff, that, you know, shout outs and stuff like that. I appreciate when you guys interact with me, and I definitely want to hear you guys' feedback. So let me know in the comments section below what you guys thought, and I hope you guys have a really awesome epic day and enjoy your Minecraft. Peace out. God damn, girl, you got a fat ass.